Beautiful morning it is out. Southern Maine. Looks like we got 10 to 12 inches of snow. It's kind of hard to tell because it's a little bit drifting. It's light snow, but it is gorgeous. But it is time to take care of the snow. 28-inch Ego snowblower. I did a full video on this last year with a storm similar to this, but I have more snow blowing to do this time. Last year I did 2,300 square feet, but I'm doing my neighbor's driveway today because he's feeling under the weather. So that ups it to about 3,300 square feet. Actually, it's almost exactly 3,300 square feet. I did some careful measuring. Here, let me show you a little bit of the measuring and square footage I did from last year's video.
My snow blowing needs aren't just linear. It's a patchwork of areas that add up to quite a bit. And the areas that I have to blow are fairly rough. I have a crushed rock area. I have a rough driveway. I have my scraper blade up 1/2 inch so I won't break any shear pins. And I'm not too worried about a super clean job. This isn't a suburban neighborhood with a nice straight, smooth, flat driveway. Once I come out of the garage, I'll hit this 240-foot square area. It's not hard to do, and I don't do it right away. This area where I park the truck, and this area is crushed rock. Why don't I park my truck in my garage? Because every time I buy a vehicle, it gets to be a few inches taller. The last vehicle I was able to park back here was my last one, and it was a Chevy Silverado. This one won't fit, hence the rhino shelter. I like to take this long 90-foot section of banking parallel. I have to do 2, 3, or 4 trips back and forth depending on how big it is. It goes across beyond my neighbor's driveway and across my driveway and across the area in front of the garage. The reason I start so early is to take the baking out for my neighbor, so when he finally gets here, because he doesn't live here, it won't be solid ice, and it makes a good sweep for the mail person to drive their truck in and get to the mailbox. This is the largest section. This is my actual driveway. It looks rough, and it is a little bit, but right now it's just wet in the picture. It's a little over 1,000 square feet, and it has a dip on the end, which can be a little bit of a challenge to get up with a snowblower, particularly on the right-hand side. Moving up from that is the slate-covered path that goes to the steps to the house. Now, normally I just do that strip to get over to my patio, but this time I'll be doing the entire driveway as my neighbor is laid up with a cold right now. So I'll be taking that on today, and total it is 1,000 square feet. I can cut a path over to my patio. The patio is 228 square feet, and if I don't have to shovel it, I'd rather not. So having this access up to it and being able to come over with the snowblower is definitely a plus. Next is this rough area that goes along the side of the house. I have to clear off an area in front of the trash cans, move up to the front patio by the water, and then clear that off, and of course, come back.
So this year I'll be adding that entire long driveway. 3,300 square feet is equivalent to having a 12-foot wide driveway that's just shy of 300 feet long. The good news is that I don't have to throw it too far most of the time. So the snowblower, the auger and impeller will be on eco or maybe one above that most of the time. Actually, most of the time on eco, I'll move it up a little bit once in a while. And then the speed will be on about 2. 1 is too slow. 2 is just about right. You have to, go the speed to allow the auger to, and the impeller to throw the snow. You can't feed it, overfeed it. Otherwise, you'll end up with snow left behind. With a snowblower like this, it's different from a gas blower in that the gas blower, the impeller is just running full tilt all the time. With this one, you're trying to save battery life. And to do so, you run the auger as low as you can for the speed that you need to walk. And then you control how far it's going to go with the tilt of the angle on the chute. Fortunately, for almost all of mine, I need to throw it 10 feet, maximum 6 feet, so that I can keep the auger on low most of the time, which vastly saves the battery life. So, 28-inch Ego snowblower, 2 12-amp batteries that came with it, and by the time this is over, you'll have a square footage, which I already gave you, the amount of time I ran it, and you'll be able to see the fuel gauge to see just how much power I used. And I will tell you that so far I have been very impressed with the ability of this to both perform and for the battery life. If the batteries weren't working out for me, or if the thing weren't moving the snow, I would be the first to come here and say, this thing sucks. Don't get it. But there are some reasons to get this, and maybe a few not. We'll talk about those at the end. But this unit has been surprisingly good. So let's get started.
This is the typical throw distance on its lowest setting. Now, right now, the auger and impeller are running on its lowest speed, or eco mode, and the drive is on 2 out of 4. Here, I've moved it from eco mode to the first setting out of 4 in order to get it across the driveway. One of the advantages of getting the largest blower that Ego makes is that you get a fairly decent snow throw at its lowest setting, therefore battery savings. This begins the trip across my lawn to the rear patio and then around the side of the house to the front patio. Okay, I'm back to the other side of the house now, and the rear patio has a platform that is in two levels. One is separated by about 4 inches. And what I will do here is snow blow the entire patio so I don't have to shovel it. The snowblower drops down 4 inches, does the lower part of it, and then when I back up, it very nicely backs up over that 4-inch hump, which is much better than my gas blower was. I used to have to give it a pretty good yank to get it back up.
Well, I just have this little bit to do down here in front of the garage, but I did across the street. I did this driveway up to the house. I went up that driveway, which is over 100 feet long. It goes right up to that log cabin right up there. And there's an apron on the side, which you didn't see. And then I went around the house to the side and did the front patio on the other side. So now, just this. Okay, just about done. Interesting thing is that I've got to go over to my sister's house, which is about a half mile away, and do her driveway. It's about as long as this neighbor's driveway I did. It's long and slender, with an apron. And I brought my 10 horsepower Aaron's snowblower over there last year because I knew I'd be going over there to do her driveway once in a while. And she has a small snowblower, but I really like using mine. And that 10 horsepower has been wonderful, I have to admit, over the years. It's 24 years old, very few repairs, pull cord, and I put a carburetor on just because I get tired of cleaning the old one. That was just last year that all that happened. But anyway, I wish that I could bring this one over. That one over there will start on the first or second pull. It's not a problem. But this outperforms that snowblower. And yes, it's a little old, so it's not quite up to what it was when it was new, but it's still very good. This outperforms it, and I'm shocked that it does. I'll show you the how much of the battery we've used in a second. And I have been out here a total of 1 hour and 28 minutes. So here are the batteries. 3 bars left. We've used up 2. So that means we've got 40 to 60% of the batteries used up. Which means that we've got at least 40% left. Well, we're back inside, and that was fun. Got a fire going, and it's pretty comfortable in here. It always is. A few final thoughts regarding the Ego snowblower that I have, and my views have changed a little bit somewhat, actually for the better in most cases. Well, first of all, there are categories to the snowblower that I always try to keep track of. First of all, it has to do with the performance. The performance of this snowblower after the second year and a handful of storms, I'm finding is actually quite spectacular. I've used it in some really slushy conditions, some heavy snow, and a lot of light, dry flyaway snow, and it's been as good or better than my larger gas snowblower. So that's settled for me. The performance is really good. The second category would be build. This snowblower is built really well. It's mostly steel, and I don't feel as though it's cheap at all. They put a lot into it. There are a lot fewer mechanical parts in it because it is electric, but then again, there are some other mechanical parts that could cause issues down the road. That electronic servoed chute mechanism, I don't know, and the gearbox with the electric motors is kind of an unknown too. They do work good. It seems to be robustly built. Any jams or anything have yet to be seen, so fingers crossed on that. The third category has to do with longevity, and I'm not talking about longevity of the batteries lasting. I'm talking about longevity of the piece of equipment itself. That is an unknown. Hopefully it'll be okay. I do not expect it to last as long as my snowblower without issues, which went 23 years without a problem. But if it goes 10 years without too many issues, that would be pretty good for an electric unit. So still wondering about that, so that's a question mark. And of course, the other thing that could be a question mark, but it is a known, and that has to do with the cost over time. This unit is not inexpensive. The unit with the two 12-amp batteries is $2,200, and I don't expect it to last 24 years, so when you're looking at cost over time, it is going to cost more that way. And the batteries, which have a full 5-year warranty on them, could go 9 or 10 years, but I'm thinking if they went 8 years, that would be a good thing. But again, the two batteries together cost $1,000. So if anybody is thinking that the maintenance and gas costs and everything are going to offset the cost of those two fuel tanks that hold that electricity, I don't think that's going to happen. So we get into this for convenience, because we want to do it, because it does work good. But I have no illusions that it is going to be a less expensive thing down the road, like some people do, just because I don't have to buy gasoline for it or change the oil once a year. But thank you for watching this video. If you're planning on getting an Ego snowblower, or particularly this model, I hope that this might have helped you a little bit. And I'll keep updating this as things go along, and hopefully it'll always be good news. But if it isn't, I'll let you know.